My name is Brennan Randolph. I serve as Vice President of Enrollment Management here at St. Mary of the Woods College. Appreciate everyone being here as we do have a formal announcement we want to make about one of our long-term employees and athletic director. After 30 years of dedicated service to the SMWC community, where she has provided mission-focused leadership to countless student athletes, coaches, and staff, Deanna Bradley, Athletic Director, is stepping down at the close of this academic year. It would be impossible for me to properly reflect on all of her success over the last 30 years. I've only been able to witness the last 6, but I can see the strong foundation that she built in the 1990s and how that foundation will carry SMWC athletics long into the future. We have very brief comments that will be made by everyone at the table here, so I'm quickly going to hand it off to President King for a few remarks regarding this. So President Dottie King, you can give her a hand too.
Well, good afternoon. I'll use my teacher voice and prove that I still have one. It's with a lot of emotion that I speak to you today about the retirement of Deanna. I've been at the school for 19 years and she was already accomplishing so much by the time I arrived. One of my jobs is chief storyteller, so I've collected a few Deanna stories over my time. All good, Deanna. I've learned as president of what she accomplished when she was hired. She came as athletic director, but there were no scholarship programs at the Woods. And she, early on, made it her mission to inform the Board of Trustees and those of us who worked at the Woods, I wasn't here yet, but the people, how important scholarship athletics could be to our future. And boy, was she ever right. She started with a women's basketball team, and they played in a gym initially that was built by the Sisters of Providence, really for recreation, not for competition. And once we became part of the USCAA, they could no longer play there because it was not regulation size. And there were lots of challenges with that space. There was no place for the spectators to really sit. They had to be on the walking track that surrounded the gym and so on and so forth. She was promised that it would just be a few years before we built a gym. But remember Brendan said in the 1990s she came? This facility opened in 2014. So she went a long time without the proper place, and yet she didn't let that deter her. I hope those of you who are taking pictures today will take the opportunity to go into our main gym before you leave. And look, we brought center court with us because as she convinced the Board of Trustees that scholarship athletics were important to our future, they passed the hat quite literally during a board meeting and got the money to put down a new floor on a gymnasium that wasn't the right size, but nonetheless a new floor. And when we opened this building, we brought that center court with us. So for us, it's symbolic of how far we had come. It's also that we remember the past. So Deanna, you've left a mark on us, and we will never forget all you've done. So from that one women's basketball team to 14 athletic teams, opening this building, club sports, and as you all, we've announced earlier, we will now be part of the NAIA. She led us through that process. We will be part of the River States Conference, which was a separate process, and it was all seamless. Deanna's not only on our own Hall of Fame, but she's also been given that same honor by the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. I'd like to surprise everyone, hopefully Deanna too, by announcing that we will be naming our center court after Deanna Bradley. And we I think the reason that that is right and fitting it's not just because what she's accomplished, which is momentous, but it's also the heart that she brought to her job. We are a Catholic institution. Faith is a part of who we are, and Deanna never forgot that. She recruited coaches, she coached students, and the mission was always close to her heart. And that is the foundation she has led for our athletics teams that will go into the future. So Deanna, thank you for everything. It's not the last time we'll celebrate, but I wanted everyone to know how much I appreciate what you've done for St. Mary the Woods College.
President King, I do want to draw attention for the media. You should have handouts that have a lot of information about Deanna's accomplishments and her bio. I want to draw attention to just a few of the stats on here for you very quickly. And I think these will be impressive to you as I kind of click through them. In 30 years, Deanna has led the athletic department to achieve 17 USCAA national championships, coupled with 6 individual student athlete national championships, 13 USCAA national runner-up finishes, 279 USCAA national all-academic team members, and 117 USCAA All-American selections. In addition to this, in 2019, she was inducted into the Hall of Fame for the USCAA. And a little bit of a funny story, I was able to attend this dinner and very nice event with Deanna and her mother and Todd. And it was quite the interesting trip that we made, the 4 of us out there. Deanna and Todd were in charge of the travel arrangements, and they, for some reason, selected this really small, dinky plane for a really tall person to get on. But we made it, and it was very enlightening for me to see how she reflected back on all the support and her faith in that acceptance speech. I'll never forget it. It was very, very important for me to be able to see that, and something I will never forget. So you all came to hear Deanna talk, not us. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Deanna Bradley.
Well, I'm going to try to rebound from that news. First of all, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dottie and Brenda, for those very kind words. You know, long-term means old. It's old. But I remember driving down the avenue when I came for my interview for this job, and the serenity that I felt just driving down the avenue and parking in front of LaFair. And I have felt that serenity every single time for 30 years that I drive down that avenue. And not everybody gets to feel that when they go to work. And so that's been really special for me. I have to admit, in addition to what Dottie said about the gymnasium, when I was on campus and we're doing campus tours, you know, we're doing interviews and campus tours, they said, that's the gym, and drove right on by it. So I'm thinking, okay, then, you know, maybe looks are deceiving. It didn't really look like a gym, but maybe inside it's just this gold-plated thing. All right, well, when I actually got hired and walked into the gym, I'm like, oh my goodness, someone is playing a joke on me. Surely this is not where athletics is going to be. The court was 75 by 35, which is smaller than a high school court. The three-point line was too far out from the top of the key, and the free throw lane was like an international lane, you know, so none of those were correct. But I remember my first 2 weeks, at BG I'm not going to do 30 years by 2 weeks, so it won't be that long of a speech. My first 2 weeks spent here at the Woods was wire brushing steam pipes because they had rust on them, because that's what how the gymnasium was heated, scraping old paint off of the brick walls, and then repainting everything. That was my 2 weeks. And I got to tell you, I'm getting my knees and thinking, Lord, are you sure this is where I'm supposed to be? I mean, are you really sure? And I had no idea. I'm thinking, man, what have I gotten myself into? But jumping forward, you know, the athletic department truly is where it is today because of so many people investing their time and so many people traveling this journey with me. Some of you are standing in this room. And these are people that have encouraged me, have pushed me, have picked me up, have walked along beside me. And I am so grateful for all of the time and energy that people invested to make sure that SMWC athletics was successful. I'm not sure there are too many people in this world that can say that they have loved their job for 30 years, but I'm telling you, that is the truth. I have loved this job for 30 years. There have been moments, don't get me wrong, but as I walk away, I am so grateful. And my heart is just filled with gratitude because I'm grateful to this institution and having served for 30 years, and I'm grateful for so many people that put in all this hard work to make sure what needed accomplished was able to get accomplished. And I believe God put me here for 30 years. I think He thinks maybe I'm a slow learner. Puts me here for 30 years for a purpose, and I believe now that that purpose has been completed. I want to thank my amazing staff for everything that they do and who they are. There's so many people just standing in this room that I could sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with just to tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm excited for what lies ahead for St. Mary of the Woods College, and because there's a lot of things going on that are exciting, but now it's time to pass that baton and look forward to the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Deanna. I really appreciate those words, and I too have thought about the 30-year commitment and how few people are able to achieve that like you have, so congratulations to you. So you may be wondering, what now? What next? How do we fill the big shoes that Deanna is leaving behind? Over the last few years, Deanna has been fortunate to have at her side a very confident leader, and as she steps away from the campus and from her role in May, we will be asking Todd McIntyre, our current Assistant Athletic Director, to step in an interim capacity. So we are very confident that as Todd steps in, that he will continue to build on that firm foundation that Deanna has built over the years. So at this time, I'm going to invite Todd to the podium to say a few words, and then we will wrap this up. Todd?
Thank you, Brendan, for those words. Honestly, the first thing I want to do is just, as Deanna spoke about, just thank God for this opportunity. All glory to Him. That's something that Deanna and I connect on in so many different ways. It's just our relationship with Christ. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. Honestly, I have so much thanks to give to Deanna. She was the hiring supervisor when I arrived here at SMWC a little over 3 years ago. Her and I's relationship is, I think, really unique because maybe from the outside looking in, you might not know how close we actually are. All the conversations we have, late nights after basketball, the conversations we have that, we really can't share with anyone else. So I'm so eternally grateful for the opportunity that she's blessed me with growing as a young leader, with growing and taking on more responsibility and really setting me up for an opportunity to step in on an interim basis. I also want to thank President King, Brennan, and Cabinet for having the confidence in my leadership and ability moving forward to lead our department in the right way. As Brennan said, it is incredibly big shoes to fill, ones that I don't even know that I can fill, right? I'm just excited to continue to build on the winning tradition, winning in the classroom, winning in our sports, and winning in the community. Our goal here is obviously to graduate our student athletes and then put them in an opportunity to be able to win and compete for championships. As we grow, it's so exciting to be a part of. It's so exciting to be a part of the NAI as provisional members beginning July 1st of 21. It's so exciting to be joining the River States Conference. It's exciting to have the staff we have in place with us, all the coaches, the assistants. There are so many people here who have not only, I think, propped up Deanna, who have not only propped up athletics, but have, I think, propped up me personally. And so many of you I want to thank. I mean, from facilities to IT to advancement to everyone and in between. I mean, it is truly a together we move, and I want everybody knowing moving forward that that is our goal in athletics, is to bring the institution with us to grow together, because at the end of the day, athletics is what's going to drive a lot of the success of this college. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of our athletic sponsors, all the Palmer supporters. We are looking forward to a ton of growth. Thank you.
Again, we appreciate everyone being here. This does conclude our press conference. So if members of the media are interested in individual interviews, we would be open to that. And thank you all for being here. Have a nice afternoon.
You want to, yeah, President. I told him.